You are now listening to the Sportz Nut.
Welcome to episode 85 of the Sportz Nuts.
Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Buy one, get one 50% off drinks.
Tequila's Grill Mexican restaurant has homemade salsa bars. They have the most authentic, most delicious, and most affordable Mexican cuisine in town.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sportz Nuts, episode 85. We cannot wait to get this show going. We've had a long and amazing week so far, and it's only Tuesday, y'all. My man sitting right here, literally to the top of my screen, Mr. Hank Russell. How we doing, brother?
What's going on, fellas? Blessed and highly favored.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, the times changed. Longer days, warmer afternoons.
That's right. Let's get it.
Productive days.
This gentleman right here below me, Mr. Shane Owen. I see you are all in your what is it, the feng shui or whatever they want to call it, the house. How you doing, man?
Man, doing good. Just got up here. Everything was packed, and so now it's time to settle in and get started on this next chapter.
That's right. Hey, we're extremely proud of that, man, and congratulations on the relocation. Guys, I don't really need to give much introduction to this gentleman right here, Mr. Matt Thomas. How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hank, Shane, Brandon, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody had a good weekend. I see nobody got flagged, so I see we all right here in full force.
Yes, we are all ready to roll. Hey, guys, we have a very special guest tonight. He is the head coach at Interlochen High School. We will have him tell more about it. He's also a former arena football player. His name is Mr. Erik Gibson. We are excited to have him on. Can't wait to hear more about his journey. And then, guys, obviously, some much anticipated news has actually just broke. I will be happy to share it. It's about the Sportz Nuts. Also, real quick, did you guys know that Tiger Woods had just had surgery today on a ruptured Achilles?
I just saw that, man. I saw that in the midst of all these free agent pickups, and that I saw, man. That's beginning notifications on, all these teams except for the Falcons went ahead and did their thing this free agency. But yes, I saw that about Tiger Woods, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's 49 years old and has the body of a 90-year-old, basically, with how many injuries he has unfortunately sustained. Do I think he's going to return back to competitive golf? No, I think he's done. I think he needs to go ahead and hang up his clubs for competitive wise. He can still obviously play with his son because Charlie is an up and coming star. Yeah. However, he's had the knee, the back, and then now he's had the Achilles. I mean, it's one thing after the other. Tiger Woods, he will be the greatest of all time officially in my book and I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all, everybody else's book too, just because of the great golfer he is. But just want to give a quick note of that one. Also,
that Tiger Golf League that he has doesn't have to do much walking, so hey, watch out for him in that.
That is true. So just want to let you guys know we are live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, our website, which is nuttysportstalk.com, YouTube at the Sportz Nuts 176. Let everybody know, hey, Phil, we got a really good guest. Cannot wait to bring him on. The exciting news is we are actually going to be broadcast on a radio station. I will let you know the exact days when it comes to it. Just be prepared. We are growing. The Sportz Nuts is growing, and I say thank you to Hank, to Shane, and to Matt, because without you, this cannot be happening. So, guys, without further ado, let's bring our special guest in, Coach Erik Gibson. Coach, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming on. We really do appreciate having you on. So, this has been, I remember when I messaged you and you were like, are you sure this is going to be good for ratings? And I absolutely can tell you that, we let everybody have their voice be heard. That's the most important thing. We had I recently had an episode with a team called the Carolina Disco Turkeys. They are a collegiate summer baseball league. Had them on, had great turnout, great everything. And, shout out to them. We're always happy to have them on. So what we do differently compared to everybody else is we let little, big, and medium, all in between get their voices heard. It's it's just a way to show that they truly make a difference in sports in every level imaginable. We are actually the official podcast of the South Carolina Ravens, the arena football team, the newest team that actually starts March 16th in Florence, South Carolina. So that just goes to show we love any and all sports. That's what we're called, the Sportz Nutz. So thank you so much for coming on. We really do appreciate it. So, I didn't know this, and I saw your on Twitter that you played for the Arena Football League. Can you kind of share a little bit about that, like where you were at and what the overall experience was?
Yeah, absolutely. I played college football at Valdosta State University. My first couple of years, I had Hal Mummy as my head coach, Mike Leach as my offensive coordinator, and Dana Holgerson was my wide receivers coach my freshman year. So we had those guys my first 2 years, and then they transitioned to Kentucky. I stayed at Valdosta State. We had some Canadian Football League coaches come down to Valdosta. So it was a different atmosphere, but I really enjoyed it. After college, I had some workouts with some NFL teams. Played a year in the Canadian Football League for the Calgary Stampeders. And then in 2000, my agent called me and said, "Hey, there's an arena football team in Jacksonville. Would you be interested?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So in 2000, I played for the Jacksonville Tomcats of the Arena League. And then I spent some time with some different teams, the Tallahassee Thunder, the Toronto Phantoms, the Memphis Explorers. I know some of you guys are from Memphis, so you might remember those guys who played in the Pyramid. The Oklahoma City Yard Dogs and the New England Surge is where I ended my career. So, I was kind of a journeyman. I got to play a lot of different places, got to see a lot of different things, but really enjoyed it.
It's funny you mentioned the arena football. So Hank is the one that's from Memphis. Hank, do you happen to remember that team at all by chance? Oh, maybe you can hear us. It's okay. We'll come back to him in a second. So, I told you I was a big arena football fan. I actually was a season ticket holder for the Georgia Force when they had the likes of Matt Nagy, Troy Bergeron, all the big names on there. Matt went to a couple of the games with me. We had a lot of fun doing that. They played back then. It was called Phillips Arena. Now Matt will tell you they call it State Farm Arena. It's a beautiful facility. We had a lot of fun. And then unfortunately, the Arena Football League folded. And then it came back. Well, I actually have another friend who played for the Georgia Force the second time. Technically, it was at this point, it's the third time because they played and then they moved and then they played and they moved and came back again. So it's just been really interesting how that's happened. Well, my friend who played as quarterback for the Georgia Force when they played at the Gwinnett Arena, which is now called the Gas South Arena in Duluth, Georgia, it was a really interesting period. His name is Bryant Moniz. He was the quarterback of the University of Hawaii, actually still has a lot of records at UH and in college football that will never be broken. It's really cool. And then unfortunately, the league, it folded again. And then it came back again last year, and it looked like it was having a chance. And then a lot of the drama, I guess you could say, started with the then commissioner, and then he ultimately bolted and left the league high and dry, and the Georgia Force played one game and then they had to dissolve again. So I think they're done indefinitely. I wish not, but I actually, because I enjoy arena football. We enjoy sports in general, but it's just interesting to see the level of love that fans still to this day have for arena football. I mean, I have a lot of family friends who still live in Georgia. I have a lot of family lives in Alabama. I'm from Mobile, Alabama. And arena football is still pretty big talked about even to this day. And here we are. It's been almost 25 years since a real arena football league was going on. So it's, I'm glad to see that it still has a chance to grow. And hopefully the South Carolina Ravens take it off and we have even more fun with that. But what do you, compared to your playing time then to now, what has changed for your from your perspective?
I think the biggest thing is just the physicality of it. I think, back when I played, quarterbacks were getting killed, receivers were getting hit. There's not a lot of Ronnie Lott type hits anymore. So I think a lot of it is geared more towards the offensive side of the ball. Defense kind of is handcuffed at sometimes as far as what defensive linemen can do as far as hitting the quarterback. Defensive backs as far as playing aggressive as far as on the receivers. Obviously it's still a fun game. Everybody still enjoys watching it. But that's one reason why I loved arena football. I mean, you were hitting somebody, and back when I played, you were a two-way player or you were an offensive specialist or a defensive specialist. So the two-way players, if you got hit one time, you can turn around and hit somebody else the next time. Use the walls, throw them in the stands if you need to. So it's just a different time now. So, obviously there's a lot to deal with concussions and concussion protocol and stuff like that. So, I think a lot more emphasis is on how the players are treated and how, mental health and stuff like that. So it's different.
Can you tell us a little bit about the football program at Interlochen High School? Obviously, like people want to know, where is it located, and just a little bit about the school.
Yeah, absolutely. I took over at Interlochen High School back in 2001. Interlochen is about 35 minutes east of Gainesville. The program, before I got here, had never won a playoff game. I think there was a record of 38 straight losses from 1998 to 2001. And they only won 4 games from 2011 to 2015. So wow. When I got here, I knew it was going to be a rebuilding and, changing the culture. Everybody says that, but it's true. I have a great coaching staff. I have a great administration. They let me pretty much do what I need to do to make sure we're competitive. In my second year as the head coach here, we ended up going undefeated for the first time in school history, won the state championship. On that team, we had 8 players selected all county, 8 of them selected all state, 5 of them earned scholarships, 1 to an FBS school in Western Kentucky and 4 at D3 schools. So, it's a growing progress. I also coach girls soccer here. I coach girls flag football, and I'm the assistant track coach. I coach girls on the track team too. So I'm busy.
Basically, it's safe to say you have multiple hats, huh?
Absolutely.
So, I look at y'all's schedule this past season, and what team, and so, I don't know much about the district area. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about like who y'all's biggest rivalry is? Because, like where I'm at, I'm in Easley. The biggest rival for Easley is Pickens County, and they're literally like 15-20 minutes from each other. So it's at one point it was so bad they actually had to stop the rivalry, and every time they play now, they have an abundance of police officers because it's gotten pretty violent.
Right.
Now, I've been a part of another rival. I went to Roswell High School in Georgia.
Gotcha.
And our biggest rival was Milton High School. Still is, because back in the day, people don't know this, Milton County used to be Fulton County and Milton County, and then Milton County went bankrupt, and they asked Fulton County to take over Milton County. So now you have Fulton County is one county. Matt knows this, that there's a North Fulton and then there's a South Fulton. South Fulton literally splits right at the middle, like where Dunwoody area is when you kind of call it the South Fulton area. But like the North Fulton it's called the North Fulton rival with Milton and Roswell. It's still a very heated rivalry. As of late, though, we'll say the last 5 years, unfortunately, it's been a one-sided affair with Milton. And Milton's a very predominant program. They are number 1 in the state of Georgia for a reason, because they do win a lot. So what is your biggest rival for your school?
I would probably have to say our biggest rival is Keystone Heights. They're about a similar size school as us. Their weightlifting team is always ranked, first in the state, second in the state. So they're always big up front, offensive line, defensive line. Since I've been here, I think they might have beaten me 3 times and I beat them 1. So it's a big rivalry. Crescent City is a school right down the road from us. They're about an hour away, and they're a big time rival because they're in our county. And they're about similar size as we are. And I think we've split 2 and 2 since I've been here. So, those are probably our 2 biggest rivals. Obviously we are, like I said, we're trying to build the program. So we try to play teams that are pretty similar to us. Luckily we have the advantage of being able to schedule who we need to schedule. As far as our conference and stuff like that, we can play a lot of teams that are out of our conference. technically, I guess we would be a 3A school, which is kind of in the middle of the road for us. We just got junior high sports when I got here 4 years ago. So that's built the building process for us too, to actually have 7th and 8th grade team come up through the system and learn our verbiage and stuff like that. But it's been pretty productive. So, the biggest thing, we want to play teams that are we competitive with. Bell's been a pretty good rivalry here recently for us. We played them in the playoffs the last 3 years. So, we're getting pretty familiar with those guys as well. So,
Shane, you have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's great to see, kind of your journey and getting there and getting Interlochen kind of to where you want them to be. I know you're just building the program. Kind of tell us how that kind of came about, with your step in there, and kind of how the reception of you being there and what you've changed, and how the winning does change kind of the atmosphere and the culture around the students and even the community as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, when I got here, there wasn't very much expectation. Obviously, I'm a guy that has high expectations for wherever I'm at. I've always been that way. And I think our coaching staff that we've assembled has a big, high expectation, and we, expect more from our players. And it's one of those processes that where when I first got here, it was a culture change. We had some guys that could play some football. They just weren't used to winning or being in tough games. And you see that shift from that 2001 team to that 2002 team, where, the 2001 team, when we're in games 6-7 points, our kids just gave up because they weren't used to having to fight through that stuff. And I think that was the big change between the program, is that our kids learn, okay, we have coaches that believe in us. We have coaches that are going to coach them. Not saying that the coaches didn't coach them and believe in them before, but it was a different type mentality. My coaching staff, we have a very diverse group of coaches. We got some old guys, we got some young guys, different types of guys, characters and stuff like that. So, when the kids can buy into it and you can relate to the kids, it's easier to change the culture, because, I've seen a lot of times there's a lot of coaches that go in guns blazing and it's their way or no way, and there's no bend at all. And a lot of times the kids don't adjust to that and they don't adapt to that. So I think that's the biggest thing with our coaching staff right now, is we understand there's different types of players we're going to have. Some guys are old school, even, the 15, 16-year-olds, they want to be coached really hard. They don't want you to give up on them. And then there's other guys you have to be soft with them. So, it's a different culture type thing. But I think for the most part, the program, like I said, the admin is wonderful. My coaching staff's wonderful. And I think the group of kids, now that there's been some things going on, they're ready to continue what we're doing.
Oh, hang on. Here we go. Absolutely. Matt, you have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, once again, thanks for coming on, man, and joining us today. I have a quick question. So what motivated you to move from playing to coaching, and how did your playing experiences shape your coaching style?
Yeah, absolutely. I had some really good coaches when I was growing up. My high school coaches were great. They were mentors, father figures, everything you want in a coach. When I got to college, obviously, with Hal Mummy and Mike Leach and those guys, they taught me football like I didn't know football. When I left playing, my body was old. I got tired of hitting walls. At that point, I decided, hey, I want to give back. Because I had some great coaches. So that made me want to go out and be a coach and give back to the youth and, just help with my experiences. And I think, the big thing about it is just pulling stuff from my experiences to help these kids. You can talk about it all day long and then, the kids start Googling you and they start looking you up. It's not like it used to be. They got all kind of information they can know about you. So obviously, and it's different when you're hearing from a guy that's actually done it and been to places and went to college and went to, the NFL, the CFL, the Arena League. They all understand it. So we've been pretty blessed with that part of it.
It's so cool to see the journeys that a lot of athletes take to go, for their future. I remember back in the day, yes, I'm old school. I remember that sometimes you had to, rewind the video cassettes to send your your information out there and say, hey, this is what I was able to do. Can you come scout me? My wife and I actually were just talking about this the other day. So there is a student at my wife's school. She teaches at a dyslexic school, but excuse me, one of the girls on the team on the school, she plays for Greenville High School, and she's in 8th grade. So she, in South Carolina, I didn't know that they had this rule, but in South Carolina, you can actually move up if there's not enough players in the JV or on the varsity. You can move a player from 8th grade up to the freshman level or even higher. Well, she plays for Greenville County High School, and that they actually just unfortunately they lost in the state tournament. So I was like, well, what is it like? How do they know that the players now can to do these kinds of things? And obviously social media is a huge point in that kind of stuff. And if you go and look at places like Twitter, Instagram, and whatnots, you see a lot of high schoolers saying, hey, this is my information to get you to view me and that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know your age, but I'm pretty sure you can remember having to rewind that video cassette and send it out to to colleges, to pro and that kind of stuff, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I was just having a conversation with somebody today. I was like, I remember when I had to send out VHS tapes. You had to get the big old manila envelopes and send them in packaging and, hope the coach got them and looked at them. You didn't have any of this read receipts on Twitter and X or whatever you want to call it now and all that stuff. So, yeah, I remember that.
Guys, we just literally just aged ourselves here. But but as Hank would say, we're like an aged fine bourbon or fine whiskey. We only get better as age goes by. Right, Hank?
That's right, sir. I got a question for you, Eric.
Go ahead, Hank.
All right. First of all, well, speaking of schools, as a new school coach, is there any conditioning and drills and stuff like that you implement that probably wouldn't have implemented maybe 20 years ago when you were playing?
Yeah, so there's all kind of rules now that we have to follow. Back in our age, we we got to do 2-a-days and 3-a-days. That's unheard of now. In the state of Florida, you can't even do more than 1 a day and more than 2 hours at the most. So obviously, there's a lot more with the heat index and all that stuff. You have the wet bulb readings, the heat index readings. One big thing that we do is we make sure we have water at every station now. Before you're like, all right, go get some water when you need it or when you pass out. But, we got a water station. We have one of our jugs set up as far as water, and it's out on the practice field every time. It doesn't shut off. So it's one of those things where you're going to stay hydrated the whole day. And a lot of it is just monitoring the players now a lot more than it used to be. Obviously back in my days, if you passed out, then the coaches knew you were tired. But, a lot of the stuff now you have to watch and make sure the kids are hydrated. You got to make sure they ate lunch the day of practice. And that's the biggest thing is just trying to stay on them to make sure they're eating right, make sure they're drinking enough fluids to stay hydrated, especially here in Florida. I mean, it gets hot as all get out here. So.
Absolutely. I actually had the privilege of living in St. Petersburg, Florida. So I can attest, that Florida heat ain't no joke whatsoever. We had Gerald Riggs on here, NFL legend, last episode. And one of my favorite quotes that he said was, we're old ball, basically. And and so we asked him to elaborate on that one. He said, we would practice 4 or 5 days a week, and then you'd have your walkthrough the day before, the warning of, you'd have your walkthrough, and then you played, and then you're right back at the next day. And he said players nowadays have it made compared to when we played as back in the day. I said I absolutely agree. And I asked him, do you remember doing Oklahoma? And he goes, oh, that was actually one of the drills that made the difference between boys and men. And I can totally agree with that. Now, do you remember Oklahoma?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was a big thing. And it's funny now, I see all the memes on Twitter and stuff like that. And it shows the old Oklahoma stuff. And it says, this turned football players into basketball players. And it's true. You do that nowadays, you're going to have a lot of people just say, nope, this ain't for me. So, yeah, absolutely.
Much less play bull in the ring.
Oh, absolutely.
It's interesting. You hit the nail on the head. You see the transition from old school ball to new school ball, back to old school again, and back to new. It's, everything, they say everything comes in cycles, and it's really true. Fashion is an example of it. Fashion comes and goes through its eras. And the reason I have I have 4 daughters actually. And so, I'm going to be in the world of fashion soon. I have my oldest is 7. She is, I joke and say she's 7 going on 17. And, so, you see a lot of the changes going on and stuff. Well, football is, it's still football. It's one of the best sports, and it's not my first love. It's tied right there. My first love is actually basketball. That's actually how Matt and I met, was through basketball. And you see the difference of the type of caliber players, type of coaches. But the names that you mentioned, I remember Hal Mummy very well. He was actually one of my idols. So, this gentleman that you see right here, I don't know if you can see the message, Coach Vincent. Him and I actually coached together. I was an offensive coordinator. He's the defensive coordinator. And one of my favorite quotes that Coach Vince has used quite a bit is, if Brandon could use the field from Albuquerque, New Mexico, all the way to Atlanta, Georgia, he would. That is very true. And Hal Mummy was a pass happy guru offensive player. He got, and him and Mike Leach invented the style, the style of play that they did. And it was just phenomenal. No one had heard of that style of play. Obviously Mouse Davis did the introduction to the run and shoot, but Mike Leach and Hal Mummy really brought that type of style of play into an existence, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I run the run and shoot, and to me, pass is one of my favorite offenses. And my team is the University of Hawaii, which they've always been known for it with the passing. You had the greats of Nick Rolovich, Timmy Chang, Colt Brennan, Bryant Moniz, which is a buddy of mine. The names are just endless on the level of passing. And one of the offensive minds at BYU, Ty Detmer, he played in that same style of offense. What is that, the style of offense that you have brought to the school? Or I know you can't delve too much into secrets because you don't want to give away to the others, but what is the type of style of offense that you kind of formulate around?
Yeah, obviously I try to take as much of the air raid offense as I can. We want to spread the teams out, use our athletes. My first couple years here, we had a mobile quarterback. He's the kid that actually playing at Western Kentucky now as an outside linebacker. So he was a true athlete. We ran the ball a lot more. We would throw some. This last year, we threw the ball a lot, but we also ran the ball a lot. We threw for over 2,000 yards. We rushed for over 2,000 yards. I got two big 6'4" wide receivers right now. I got a slot that can do everything. I got a young quarterback that played pretty well last year. Unfortunately, our starting quarterback got hurt, so that kind of pushed him into some play. But, I'm going to use – I've learned enough from Coach Mummy and Coach Leach and Coach Hoberson, those guys, that, use what you got. If you got quarterback that can throw the ball and you got receivers that can catch it, sling it. Put them in space one-on-one with guys. Obviously, I'm smart enough to figure out if they're going to, only put 5 in the box, we're going to run the ball. I mean, it's not rocket science in high school. Just do what your kids are good at and take advantage of what defenses give you. So, I'm kind of a multiple offense, but obviously my heart is in the air raid offense. I love throwing the ball. I love catching the ball, having the guys out in space, letting them do what they can with the ball. So, but I'm also one, if I got a team that's bigger than us and faster than us, I'm going to try to slow the game down. So, it just really depends on what defenses like to do against us.
Absolutely. I love it's just something about passing the ball, because you can pick defenses apart just like that, and it's so much fun. So I have a good friend, Coach Bob Spire. He coached at North Gwinnett High School, now he coaches up in Kentucky, and he runs the similar style air raid as well as the mixture of the run and shoot combined. And he told me an astonishing stat. This year alone, they threw the ball for almost 8,000 yards passing, and they rushed for almost 5,000 yards. I was like, Coach, good grief, what was the average score y'all were scoring? And he said that they averaged 56 points a game. And I'm like, that is unbelievable. And shout out to people who know that kind of style of offense. And I think it's a lot of fun. Now, Shane, you had a question. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, we were just divulging into kind of some of the coaches that you grew up playing for and all. Man, we've talked about it multiple times. With his passing and everything. Mr. Mike Leach was just kind of a one of a kind for the game of football in general. Kind of give us, one of your best quotes, most memorable moments. And, we know him as a comedian. So, give us one of those as well.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to tell you, what you see on TV was Mike Leach. I think the first time as a freshman in college, I heard Coach Mummy talk to our defensive coordinator. And he said, hey, listen, if they get inside the 35, let them score so we can get the ball back. And I looked at Coach Leach, and he looked at me. He was like, what? And I was like, he really just said, he goes, yeah, we got to score at least 60. I'm like, okay.
I'm not gonna get, you don't have to tempt me with a good time.
Yeah, I mean, he really was. I mean, he really was like what you've seen on TV. He was, he was always, he knew how to get you ready to play, but he also knew if you needed to talk to him about something, he was always willing to. Him and Coach Mummy were both the same. They were serious when they needed to be, but they would joke with you. I mean, you talking about two pranksters, those two are pranksters. I mean, they really were. And it was funny because you never knew who was getting who. So it was always one of those things in the football office, like, oh, yep, Coach Mummy got him. Or, oh, Coach Leach got him this time. So it was fun. It was a really good experience. That's what made me want to learn the air raid offense as much as I could, just because both those guys are real teachers. And, and it's funny because everybody's like, well, Leach didn't play football. I said, but he was so brilliant as far as scheming things, just thinking outside of the box. And, I think as a coach nowadays, you have to be able to think outside the box. And I think that's where he was so much different than other coaches. He would take a defense that you see, over and over again, and he would find a way to dissect it every time. And it didn't matter if they changed defenses, he'd still be able to dissect it. So,
it's interesting you say that. People often don't realize this, but we had a good friend come on, Sam Fajoko, who is the assistant linebackers coach at Northeastern State in Oklahoma. He had the privilege of being with Mike Leach, and Coach Leach was often known as the Pirate or the Mad Hatter. He always had two different names. And I remember him being known as the Pirate, and Sam jokingly said, he always had something related to pirates everywhere you went. And I was like, I couldn't really believe it. But then I talked to my friends who also had the privilege of being on him, and they all said the same thing. He always had some sort of pirate memorabilia with him. And he really was above his time, basically, with the style of offense, him and how Mummy created, and I talked to Coach Mummy last year. I haven't talked to him in a year. And I remember he still draws up plays to this day to do for football. And I mean, the last time I saw how Mummy on the sideline was when he was at New Mexico State. That's how long it's been since I've seen him. What is he doing? I mean, I haven't seen like any updates or anything with him. What is he? Do you know what he's doing nowadays?
Yeah, he was recently in the XFL. I believe it was the XFL or UFL. I can't remember which one it was. But he was there. And then I've been told that he's coaching somewhere in Texas now for another one of those startup spring leagues. So, I wish him all the best. He's still the same guy. You see him on the sideline. He's still got his towel rolled up, tucked in his shirt. I mean, he hasn't changed either. So he might have gotten older, but he's still the same old coach he was at Valdosta State in Kentucky. So,
how Mummy, gosh, like that just brings back so many like good memories. And also I remember, he thought outside the box is what he did. And he really revolutionized the game of football. Not a lot of people, they don't really understand that, math, it's kind of like a mathematical equation with football. You're trying to outmath the other team as far as like, oh, they're going to line up here, we can have this and this, and I have had many people say that it's it's hard to read defenses. I don't think it is, and Coach Vince will even tell you, I can read. So I've even told Matt this too, and I've told Shane this, that, immediately if I'm watching a game and they break the huddle and they line up, I knew exactly where the defense is going to go and where the offensive player is going to go. And it's just part of being able to read those kinds of things. And it's so much fun to know that I know exactly where they're going before. And that's the kind of player, kind of coach that how Mummy was, is he knew where they were going before even they knew where they were going. And, and that's what separates the difference from average and good coaches. And, is that who you idolize a lot of your coaching techniques from, or is there any others you want that help contribute to your level of coaching?
Yeah, I think, those guys, like I said, those two implemented a lot and they made me want to learn about it. And I think, the big thing with those guys is they had a set play. I mean, I could tell you, we could run 92, 7 different ways. I mean, mesh. And it's all based on receivers and quarterbacks being on the same page. And they would tell you, listen, if they show you this defense, this is the route you're running. If you show this defense, this is the route you're running. So there was never a time where you had a question as a receiver as what am I supposed to do in this situation? Because they have thought about it 5 or 6 different situations ahead of time. And like you said, they knew ahead of time. All right, if they show up in this defense based on the film, they say this is the 3 or 4 different routes we're going to run. Now it's still going to be called 92, and we're going to run the same routes, but based on their formation, if the corner does this, you're doing this. So, a lot of it is, defenses aren't hard as far as base defenses. If you got a 2 high safety or a single high safety, or if they're an over front or odd front or even front, all that stuff. Obviously, the good defensive coordinators are going to try to toy with it and give you a look, and then right before the snap, they're going to change it. But Mummy and Leach were so good at giving you all the tools, to go out there and be successful on offense. You never really had to worry about it. There wasn't really a lot of thinking because you knew ahead of time.
Absolutely. In my positions that I played was left defensive end and tight end. And even though I'm an offensive happy, pass happy kind of guy, my favorite was still playing the defensive end. I loved getting into the heads of the O linemen. And I know that there is this rule: don't assimilate the snap. I did quite a few times, and I did it where they wouldn't catch me. And there was one time that I did have a ref say, don't do that again, but I was able to, I kind of like, and I'd bark just enough to make the linemen think that they snap the ball and they get the offsides. And, just something about defense, getting in the mind of the other players it was always something special. I remember they had, I had a couple of schools that created a play called base 88 because I was number 88. So that meant bring your tight end over and you had to double team me because I was going to create some sort of disruption, and like I said, football it's such a fun sport, and I wish you guys absolutely nothing but success going into the 2025 campaign. Obviously it is Florida. Florida is bred for football. There's something different about Florida than a lot of other states. That people say that all the time. It's different in Texas, it's different in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, wherever, right? No, there's just something different about Florida and their football athletes. They're one of a kind, is how I feel. I saw great football players at Clearwater High School. I've seen great players come out of the University of Florida, Florida State. South Florida and Tampa, great areas in general. So I totally commend all those who brave the elements of Florida. I can't do it just because I don't like having the fact I have to leave my house every so often during the summer to worry about a possible hurricane coming in there. But shout out to all those who indulge in that kind of stuff. One quick question I have. So actually, I'm going to toss it to Shane has a better understanding of this question. Shane, ask the question that you want to ask. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, as Brandon's bringing up the 2025 season coming up for you guys, just kind of let our listeners and everyone out there, that's watching us and listening, at home, kind of, where they can go check you guys out, if you guys got any fundraisers, any kind of sponsorship opportunities, maybe help these kids out, kind of take them over to the next level.
Yeah. Anytime we have sponsorship opportunities, obviously, that's a big part of fundraising and stuff like that. We try to keep our players' fees minimum. A lot of teams charge $350, $400 to have a team fee. We don't. We can't afford it. We'll lose players. The biggest thing for us is as far as sponsorship opportunities, they can get in touch with me. My email is Gibson at my.putnamschools.org. So if they want to get in touch with me, we can get them sponsorship opportunities, whether it's, $100 sponsorships or if they want to be a sponsor on the field. We try to do one where we have a coach for a day. So, if you want to be part of the program for the week and come to practices and, come sit on the sideline with us and call some plays, maybe get on the headset so you can hear how it's really like. We have that opportunity. So we have a multitude of opportunities. We always have all our golf tournaments, usually in May. So we have that. We'll set that up. Our Facebook page, I believe it's Interlochen High School Football. So we always have sponsorship stuff on there. We always have our schedules up there. Anything that you need to know about our program is always up there. We try to keep it on social media as much as possible because you guys know, just like I do, social media is the way it is. Twitter, Facebook. So we try to keep updated information on that all the time.
Absolutely. And I can tell you this now, Coach, you have at least 4 new fans here with the Sportz Nutz. I'm sure we'll have an abundance of more come on and cheer you guys on. Obviously you told everybody where they can find you. But before we let you go, let the fans know what's going to transpire over the next few months. Obviously spring ball is here. And then that kind of stuff. Let everybody know what is the next opportunities.
Yeah, we got spring football coming up starting April 28th, obviously in the state of Florida. I don't know how it is other places, but in the state of Florida, we get 20 practices. So obviously we'll get those 20 practices in, and then we'll have a spring game on May 20th. It'll be at Keystone Heights High School. The first game, it kicks off at 6 p.m. There's going to be 4 teams total. I think Keystone plays there's going to be 4 teams: Keystone Heights, Lafayette High School out of Mayo, Florida, West Nassau High School, and then us. So we're all going to play. 2 teams will play each other twice, and then, we'll go from there and have full 12-minute quarters. It'll be a real spring game. So, there'll be a lot of modified special team stuff, but overall it's going to be a good chance for our guys to get back in the swing of thing and get ready for the 2025 season.
Absolutely. And we cannot wait. We're going to continuously check in with you. You have my contact information. We want to have updates. This how the team is looking, and we're excited to get updates. We're excited to get pictures, and we will always let everybody know, hey, come check you guys out, because we're Sportz Nutz. We're fans of all the sports, so we can't wait to get it going. Well, Coach, I really appreciate you coming on from the bottom of my heart. I know, and for you to promote us as you did, like, hey, come and check us out, that stuff. I really appreciate it. We will definitely have you on again soon. So in the meantime, go enjoy what's left of your Tuesday evening. As Hank just puts the sound effect in there. We really do appreciate it. But seriously, Interlochen Rams, they're going to be our fan. We're going to be fans of them. Cannot wait to see what's going on for 2025 season. You take care of yourself, okay, Coach?
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate you having me on. You guys keep it up.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Guys, what an awesome guest indeed to have come on. He's very knowledgeable with what he does. He knows those kinds of things. I'm so excited for their football program. Obviously, it's football in general. It's so exciting to just get to participate and watch it. You know what I mean?
Man, he reminds me of, a guy I played for in high school, Steve Tannehill, who came out of college, was a quarterback, came out of high school as a three sport athlete. Man, he's gung-ho, loves it, and, kind of in your face type of guy, but that's, kind of what he explained growing up around, through his career. So it was great to have him on. I'm really interested to see what they can do this year.
Absolutely. And it's so cool to know that he got to be under one of the most genius coaches there was in Hal Mummy. just something different about that, and then also Mike Leach. Like they really were revolutionary.
Well,
You
he
know,
said and Dana
right.
too. What Dana did with Pat White and them,
Yeah.
and Slayton up in West Virginia. I mean that was something too.
Go ahead, Tank. Go
Remind
ahead.
me who Mike Leach was. Okay, I'm. No, I was just going to say,
Oh.
who is Mike Leach? Remind me.
Wait. Do we
man.
have a where do we begin? So Mike Leach, exactly. Mike Leach was he started out, so he really got notoriety for when he was at Texas Tech. I mean, he did really good things his entire career, but at Texas Tech is his most memorable season. Matt, what it was, 07 or 08 was Texas
09.
Tech. 09. So it was 09 was their,
09 with Crabtree and them.
yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah,
Michael
09, yeah.
Crabtree. It was one of the most electrifying seasons ever. And unfortunately, just as Texas Tech started to peak, he left to go to Washington State University. He did really good things at Wazoo, did phenomenal things, and then he his final coaching career stop was at Mississippi State. Mississippi State had finally started getting over that hurdle, getting the recognition they deserved, and then unfortunately he passed away.
Okay, yeah. What year was he at Mississippi State?
Remind me, Matt,
14.
Shane.
14.
I think it was
12.
14, 15.
Well, the radio station I worked at was the affiliate for Mississippi State. So this is before my time at the radio station. And that's not the SEC team I was following at the time. And
So Mike Leach passed away in 22. He was the head coach from 2020 to 2022. And he died, I believe it was mid-season, almost to the end of his regular season. He unfortunately passed away and was related to a heart attack.
Yeah.
And he was coaching for who?
He was coaching for Mississippi State.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I worked for the affiliate during that time then. And I'm going to tell you, I will not sit here and lie to you, because I did my own sports show. I didn't pay attention to Mississippi State that much. I was there during the Dak Prescott years, or I was there during the Dak Prescott years. But if you're not like a high end, like SEC coach outside of like certain teams and stuff like that, I don't really just have the best memory of it, man. I can only remember so many names, and I just had a tremendous brain fart considering the fact I worked for the affiliate. So it's like, what the HE double hockey sticks is up with me?
I can tell you the best clip of Mike Leach to go watch is the Washington State, when he was coach there, talk about a mascot fight.
I remember that. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Well, I remember that.
That is Mike Leach to the T. Will explain everything.
Yes. And so Mike Leach, he could always talk to a fly on the wall, and the fly would listen. He was that good. So his most memorable, and I'm looking back at his stats as coaching at Texas Tech. In 2000, it was a 7-6 season. It was kind of that way for 2 years, and then 2002 was when he really started putting Texas Tech on the map as far as like a good school. But 2007, he finished 9-4. But 2008, he finished 11-2, and they lost in the Cotton Bowl. And then his final year was 2009. They went 8-4, and they won the Alamo Bowl. Said it 3 times fast. And then he went on to Washington State. Had a little bit of a rough start because Washington State, they've never really been like the zinger school as they could have been. Obviously, Ryan Leaf was there. And we're not going to go into that rabbit hole with Ryan Leaf. But
that is a rabbit hole.
However, I'm familiar with Brian Leaf, obviously, but
So 2018, that was the really successful season that he did with Washington State, and that's when he got kind of recognized for a lot of things. They went 11-2. 19, they went 6-7. They did lose in the Cheez-It Bowl, but then he went on to Mississippi State, and he had just gotten them going. They looked like they could have been a promising program, and then unfortunately he passed away. But Mike Leach, phenomenal coach, absolutely enjoyed everything about him.
That one season with Washington State, that was with one of the Holinsky brothers, wasn't it? The one that passed away.
I can't remember.
The guy that played at South Carolina, what was his name? Ryan?
Oh my gosh.
Ryan Holinsky, a couple of years back. But his brother played, I think, for Mike Leach in that season, and then tragically passed away. And then he played there, and then transferred to South Carolina his last year, I believe.
You know
I
that.
remember.
You know this answer, Matt.
I remember they did a special about this on TV one time. I remember this
on game day. On
Yeah,
game day
they
when
did
they
a
came to
special
South
about this.
Carolina. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm drawing.
Well-
What? I'm trying to remember like the date, like the time. Like it'll come. Of course.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all for educating me on my own doggone, school that I was affiliated with. And I feel like a moron right now. I'm just saying.
Hey, it happens, Hank. Man, it happens, man.
You know
No
that's
love
called, right?
lost, no hard
Well,
feelings. It happens.
Look, let me. Like I said, that's not the SEC team. Like, believe it or not, it's funny y'all are from that area that I actually used to follow the Gamecocks pretty well, especially when Jadeveon Clowney was. So I knew the coach back then, but nowadays it's like, it's kind of the past.
Coaches change so much; it's ridiculous.
Hey man,
Well,
they don't call us Sportz Nutz for nothing.
Yeah, but I only have so much.
Clowney.
I only have so much space in my head between being being an aspiring musician and then loving sports. Loving sports at the top of the list. But man, some of these days you just kind of like. You have tremendous brain flatulence, and you're like, why on earth did I not know this? Until my place burnt down, I used to have like Mississippi State t-shirts all over the place because I get them for free. But
hey, it comes with the age, man. It comes with age.
It's called getting old, man.
Hey,
Matt knows it more than all of us because he's the oldest.
Man, please, Brandon. I haven't even touched 40 yet. Yeah.
I was about to say, keep on living.
Right. Hey, y'all stop. I don't want to know what I got to expect.
Exactly. First of all, Shane, we still smell a Similac over there.
Hey, look,
that's a Similac over there, man.
Hey, let me tell you, yeah, exactly. That's why you have bow-leggedness, bifocals, and bunions, because your body's falling apart, baby.
Darn tootin', it's literally falling apart. Hey, real quick before Matt goes into some interesting free agency notes, guys. There is. I don't know if you know this, who the show is. Which they're one of my favorite shows. Shout out to the Ghost Adventures crew. I've watched them since day one. One of my absolute favorites. Zach Bagels.
I can attest to this. Brandon has always been big on the paranormal, man. I remember one time he had a whole little like a detector thing that can detect spirits. Brandon has always been on that. So yes.
I will actually add on that. So there is actually, and it is actual all over the internet story, because I was on the radio station I was at. We actually went to an abandoned cemetery. Stupid idea, by the way, y'all. Cemetery.
Great idea. I love it.
No. In Marietta, Georgia. Okay.
See, we don't do that. You guys do that. We don't do that. We're not going to an abandoned cemetery. That's a you guy thing. That's you.
Oh boy. Oh Lord, here we go. You know what? All right. So I'm gonna tell you the truth. Okay, you ready to hear the story? Oh my word. Anyway,
I'm back.
Don't scare all the kids. Don't scare all the kids in Texas.
Yes, exactly. So just to let you guys know, okay, so there is an abandoned cemetery in Marietta, Georgia, called Antioch Cemetery. So I went there one day just to see, what it was like, and I got a couple of like EVPs, which are electronic voice phenomena. I did get those. Matt's heard them, so Hank, the real Matt has heard them. Okay, and so one night. Cassie and I were. This is when we lived in our apartment in Marietta. It was like 3:00 in the morning, and I hear this, Charlie, and it was so loud it woke me up. And there was a man that was standing at the foot of the bed, and I go, babe, turn the light on. And I went to grab my knife, thinking, oh crap, somebody broke into the house, right?
Oh no.
So when I turned back, he was gone. Well, everybody,
It's time to go.
They experienced something with him. Well. The straw that broke the camel's back. We had moved from Marietta to Woodstock, Georgia. Beautiful town, by the way. Really interesting town in general. Well, we were in this townhouse, and come to find out, the former tenants of this townhouse practicing the dark arts of the occult, and that kind of stuff. Well, Cassie said, "What is that doing this in front of my face?" And I look, and you do see a shadow going like this to her in front of her face, right? So she started finally believing something was happening. Well, I go downstairs one night to turn the air down because it's too hot. Sure enough, there is the spirit. His name is Charlie, because I went back to the cemetery and I found his gravestone, right? And there's an actual picture of him on it. And he's sitting on the couch and he goes like that. Just wife didn't have any like really malicious intent or anything from it. So I said, you know what, Cassie, I'm going to contact the Ghost Adventures crew. And I did. And Bishop Bryant, shout out to him, because he and his team reached out. They did some research on the townhouse that I was staying in. And long story short, folks, they were able to basically help Charlie cross over to the light. And we have not seen Charlie since. And this is going on almost 12 years. So that's how long it's been. Well, Aaron Goodwin, guys, he great fan. I love Aaron. I love Zach and Jay and Billy, all of them. The great team and everything, right? Aaron Goodwin's wife was just arrested, and this has got to be the absolute like craziest story you will ever hear. So Aaron Goodwin, if you look him up, his net worth is like almost $10 million, right? His wife was arrested for an alleged hiring of a hitman to kill Aaron Goodwin. And why did she want to kill him? Because she wanted a piece of his life insurance. His life insurance and like all his stuff that he's a part of and everything was totaling $30 million worth of assets, right? The dude makes almost $10 million a year. What are you hoping to get out of this? It was the biggest boneheaded decision, but she had been communicating back and forth with an inmate, and through text messages that she smuggled a phone in for this individual. And the first message that kind of hinted at her involvement, she texted about killing her husband, and she was going to wire this inmate a $2,500 payment. Ultimately, it totaled out to be over $11,000 in money towards this inmate to hire to kill Aaron Goodwin. Well, they do contraband search, and they found the phone. Well, the phone was on at the time that they did the contraband search, and it asked, "Did you kill him? Have you gotten the money yet?" Well, that came right away as a red flag to the prison guards. They turned it over to the police, the FBI. It was a big story. Needless to say, this has got to be the strangest thing you'll ever hear. Matt, what do you think about this whole thing, that knowing that someone like that is like this? The story really reminds me of is a Dateline or a 2020 kind of story.
Oh, that's absolutely right, man. I agree with you there, man. That's kind of crazy, but also, I mean, we've seen it in movies. We've heard about this. Am I surprised? Yes and no. Yes, because okay, you're already living a better than normal life with your husband. I mean, what are you doing here? Now, granted, it could be a whole case of I've seen this guy for the last 20 years. I'm tired of him. Yada yada yada. Bada boom, bada bing. It's time to start new things. And boom, I'm gonna run away with this prison inmate with my husband's money. Like, she has to be an idiot, man, because you don't think you wouldn't be prime suspect number one. I mean,
apparently she doesn't watch the
Bring
TV.
your narrow behind back here.
Absolutely. Shane, what do you think about this whole thing, man?
Man, I mean, I want to say that she's, not very smart for this, but hey, first offense, she's got money. She could have good lawyers. She gets out, 10 years, and gets a movie deal off of something like this.
I was gonna say at least get like a podcast story from that number 2 podcast in the
Scamanda
world.
Woman. Remember that story, the Scamanda story that just happened?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
But that's what it reminds me of. Just a story that's going to hit, kind of flash in the pan right now. And then, if it is true, she gets out, and then we've got a Lifetime movie or something like that down the road.
Exactly. So, her original bail was set at $100,000. However, the DA came out with more evidence, and the bail has been since revoked. Which I say, good on her. Do not let that crazy person out
Yeah, she's done. She's done.
Yeah.
It's over with.
She's at,
It's over
you know,
with.
stick
No,
a fork in
it's-
it. She's done.
No,
Yeah.
she can,
All right,
no,
so
she's
guys,
done.
this has
Oh,
been
real,
a crazy.
real quick, Brandon.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say,
Leave and never come back. Oh Lord, let's
don't,
get
don't be
that.
going.
Get your narrow behind over here and don't be going to no more graveyards, okay?
Anyway,
So Kathy has banned me from going to graveyard. So we actually have a graveyard, and Shane has seen it. We have a graveyard in our front of our neighborhood. The land that our neighborhood is built on is a old family farm that the newest the newest person who buried was actually buried in 1908. It's a young kid. They both drowned in a creek in the back of the neighborhood, and that creek is it's actually a very tiny creek. However, when it rains, it floods pretty significant down there. So yeah, they unfortunately drowned in there. So yeah, but Cassie will not let me go and investigate that.
yeah.
That graveyard. And Matt says good on Cassie right there.
Yeah.
Look at his face. He's saying good on Cassie. All right, so guys, this has been a crazy NFL start to the offseason campaign. We're seeing big names being let go, big names coming to John Bon Jovi's teams, whatever you want to call it, right? Matt, would you please, first off, what on earth is going on in this NFL? I texted you and I said, it must be Big Money Monday because, ladies and gentlemen, Matt is going to tell you Monday was the day where everybody got their Benjamins rolled on them. Matt, go ahead. Share with us about this crazy offseason so far.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to apologize to our NFL heads, our NFL listeners, man. I'm sorry it took us an hour to get to these free agency. I know you guys have been waiting, so we're gonna go ahead and hop to it, man. For those like me who have the ESPN app, I'm pretty sure you're tired of it already right now because yesterday it was just going haywire.
Yes.
But I kind of want to touch on a lot of the major signings, re-signings, trades that happened and that took place. To start off, our guy Josh Allen. I know we had a discussion about this many moons ago about him being
$900 million man.
Exactly. Well, he's a $330 million man with $250 million guaranteed, new 6-year deal. They scrapped his old deal and just gave him a new deal. So, what do you guys think? Brady, what do you think about this, man? As far as Josh Allen re-signing with the Bills, becoming the face of that franchise and eating up so much of their cap?
I say, hey, good on them. Look, you guys know I have harped so much on give the whatever curse this organization, the Buffalo Bills, has right now. Guys, just end this stupid curse. Give them what they deserve. Look, again, folks, you may not know this, and if you haven't, you've been living under a rock. The Bills are the only professional sports franchise in any realm of sports to go to 4 straight conference championship games, win all 4, and go to 4 straight championship games, the 4 straight Super Bowls, and lose all 4, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, give them their opportunity. Josh Allen, and man, I told you this before, and I'm sticking to this. I wanted Josh Allen to be drafted by the Atlanta Falcons to be Matt Ryan's replacement. Because remember, he was drafted in 2018. Ryan's demise started in 2017. So I wholeheartedly said I had my hopes and dreams crashed when we took Kyle Pitts and we had the chance to take Josh Allen. And smart on for the Buffalo Bills. Look, I got the privilege of seeing Josh Allen play a lot on TV, because he went to Wyoming. Wyoming is a big rival of the University of Hawaii. But dadgum,
I didn't think this was going to happen. I
didn't think yet, but I really think, honestly, Josh Allen should have gotten a $500 million deal. That's my thoughts. Because, I don't care what people say. Patrick Mahomes is not the GOAT. I don't think he'll ever be the GOAT. That's just my thoughts. I don't care if he wins 100 Super Bowls. He's never going to be the GOAT in my mind because that's just how I feel. But I think Josh Allen should have gotten Patrick Mahomes type money. That's my thoughts. What do you think, Hank?
I disagree. And I was, obviously when we had this discussion like a month ago, I said that the contract could be maybe 600 or 600 million at the most, or 700 million.
You said 600,
900 million like you were talking about. He got what,
330.
Yes, okay, good. Thank you for correcting me. But I'll just 330. That's perfect for him. For 2 reasons. Number one, that's his value right now. Okay, that is his value. He hasn't. I don't think he's been to the. I don't think he's been to the AFC Championship game, has he? Or
Yes,
he
he's
has
been a couple.
Right? Or
He's been to a
Did he
couple.
just go? Okay, once again, a lot of information going on here. But the point is that he hasn't even been to a Super Bowl. Number one, but number two, the main reason is to open up the salary cap more. I think that's why he took that money, because he wants to open up the salary cap more and build a team around him, because he can't do jack unless he's able to have, how much. I mean, how much is he paying? Like that one kid, he's the left tackle or whatever. I think he got paid a pretty good, handsome amount a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And so they're now having to open up salary cap space in order to make sure that he's well protected, and you need to be able to fill up on this defense right now, because the defense was the weakest thing during the last game that they played of the season this year.
Yep.
So, and I think Josh is smart enough to know that. Okay, maybe his value to the city is more, but I'm still getting past these like astronomical amount of contracts for people who haven't really delivered the big show.
Absolutely, there are quite a bit.
I agree, man. I agree. Just to note also, man, the Bills, their defensive end, Greg Rousseau signed a 4-year, $80 million extension, which includes $54 million guaranteed as well. They also re-signed their
player that left, remember?
Yeah. They also re-signed their wide receiver Shakir for $60 million for 4 years. So
you see what? Yeah.
Yeah. So, moving on, same conference, but we're going to go to the Dolphins. They actually signed Zach Wilson to a 1-year deal.
Hank, would you please play the cricket sound effect, please?
You got it. Oh, I'm sorry. No, because I can't. Oh, wait a second. Wrong one.
Well, yes. I say that because I'm pretty sure Zach Wilson will see the field this year, Brandon. I'm pretty sure he will see the field for the Dolphins this year.
And they're going to be even worse.
I was actually going to go to the restroom because I really didn't give a crap that much, but since Brandon kind of intertwined.
But a signing Brandon will give a crap about. The Jets signed Justin Fields. So a 2-year deal for $40 million. $30 million guaranteed.
That's about his value.
Yeah.
That's his value. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But it is the Jets. They are the biggest dumpster fire. Well, actually, know what? They're tied for number one with Shane's team, the Carolina Panthers. They are both of them are dumpster fires.
Yes.
Speaking of Carolina dumpster fires, you shell out for a mediocre corner. I mean, yes, he's been
please talk about this, Matt, because I'm biting at the bullet to talk about this.
We'll get there, gentlemen. We'll get there. But first, we got to talk about Myles Garrett and his 4-year extension.
Either he must really care about that money versus getting anything, because he's never going to win a ring in Cleveland.
Oh no, that's not in Cleveland. Especially, and then Cleveland, they just traded for Kenny Pickett, actually. So,
watch out.
Hey, somebody's got to back up Kirk Cousins.
Somebody,
I'm
Kirk.
glad you said it, because it's going to happen. That will, that has been mentioned so much.
Yeah,
and you saw.
My thought
a lot
right
of
now,
big names are saying that he's going. Yeah, it's going to happen by this week, and he will be traded to the Cleveland Browns.
If they get Kirk Cousins, I'm going to kick them in the posterior, just in the posterior, just so I could, because they didn't keep Joe Burrow this year. So what the heck?
That's nuts. This is Cleveland.
Cleveland Browns. They got him. Possibly in that same conference, possibly the biggest trade of the offseason was DK Metcalf.
Yeah,
going to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Which, did you happen to see the report on ESPN.com? They came out and they said this is actually one of the boneheaded moves for DK Metcalf to sign that extension.
That 4-year, 132.
Because Arthur Smith, and Matt, Arthur Smith.
Yes, I do.
He does absolutely not like to utilize big players on the team. Same thing happened this year. He still, for whatever reason, believes that Russell Wilson is the greatest quarterback of all time for the Steelers.
But one thing I know about Russell Wilson, he will get his receivers the ball.
Yes, but he'll also run a ball into the knee, or instead of going out of bounds.
Russell Wilson will not be the quarterback of the Steelers next year.
On that note, I'm taking.
It hasn't happened yet, Shane. It hasn't happened yet.
While y'all talk about that nonsense, I'm gonna go take a leak.
Okay, no worries.
There's two teams. There's two teams, and the Steelers are gonna be it.
I'm listening.
That's all I gotta say.
Oh man. Daniel Jones agreed to a 1 year, $$$14 million contract with the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh gosh!
Speaking
Who's it with
of
again?
the
The Colts.
Giants.
Does anybody know what position the Colts are going to select next year? Because I'm guessing between 1 and 3 because Anthony Richards, he has a back injury that's virtually impossible to come back from. He's even said it's progressively getting worse. Daniel Jones. All right, I'm going to point this out, Matt. Okay, and it's no offense to you, but Matt is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones is because Daniel Jones is a quarterback.
I can tuck and run.
Yeah. And it's not because you're black, right?
No. I can do one read and tuck and run. One read and run. One read and run.
It was a consistent top 20 quarterback statistically in the NFL with a uninjured team.
Wasn't he benched for a 4th stringer quarterback or whatever?
On that note, the Las Vegas Raiders have acquired Geno Smith.
On that note, I love how you just add that in on that note. God, Geno Smith, he is passed around, like yesterday's news. It said, look, he did really good things for Seattle. I think Seattle is going to kick themselves in the backside for letting someone who has been consistent go because he did good things he really did. I mean, I'm going to ask you guys all this. If you had the chance to put Geno Smith or Drew Lock or God, what was the guy who also begins with a Peyton or whatever that was the quarterback for Denver? What was his name, Matt?
The rookie they had this year.
He was a rookie a couple years ago. He was drafted by the Broncos.
Peyton Lynch.
Peyton Lynch.
Ooh, that would be
Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch.
If you had to choose
because he came from my beloved University of Memphis Tigers.
If you had to choose
6'7",
Drew Lock, Paxton Lynch, or Geno Smith, I guarantee you, I know y'all's answer. You would take Geno Smith.
You're not giving us much to work with here, man. I mean,
they all were not.
Come on, man.
No,
they were questionable.
I would take Andrew Luck. He's just that he was a bit of a
not Andrew Luck, Paxton Lynch.
Do what?
It's Paxton, Drew Luck, or Geno Smith. Who would you take out of those 3?
I would take I would take definitely Geno Smith.
Exactly.
Out of those 3.
You want to know who's kicking themselves? It's got to be the Jets. Because he did good things there.
Right. And the reason why I'll elaborate why I picked, especially, because I was a University of Memphis fan, Paxton Lynch was in the pros looking at his feet in the pocket. So that was a big sign right there. Geno Smith always had confidence. He just doesn't have the talent to get over the hump.
That's right. Absolutely.
I can definitely see that. But let's go to the team that probably won free agency. That'd be the Washington Commanders, man. They bring in Deebo Samuel. They bring in Laramie Tunsil from the Texans, Javon Kinlaw, Bobby Wagner resigned. Right now, hey man, Washington's looking like they're gonna do some damage in that division.
I mean, they do play against the
I
Dallas
agree
Cowboys.
with you, Matt.
Huh?
No, I go ahead, Matt.
What'd you say, Brandon?
They do play against the Dallas Cowgirls.
Oh gosh, the Cowboys.
Cowgirls.
I almost said the Cowgirls. But I don't know, man. Maybe this will motivate Deebo Samuel to get in shape, and what Laramie Tunsil's going to do his thing. He's going to protect their second year quarterback, man. I think Laramie Tunsil move was a big move. Seeing what he did for C.J. Stroud.
What do you think, Hank?
Yeah. No comment about that. No comment about that. I just want to say that, Brandon, you realize that we're broadcasting in the state of Texas, by the way.
It's okay.
Gosh, I forgot about that. Dan, you're right,
okay.
Hank. I forgot about that. Brandon, stop,
okay.
man.
No,
stop.
I can give my hatred to the Dallas Cowboys. Absolutely, I can. But we haven't done any better. So also, Hank, I want you to get up like the sappy sound music sound effect because when Matt mentions our team, you got to play because it's sad. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I'm gonna talk about the team that our team pretty much lost players to. We're going to talk about the Chicago Bears, man. They actually racked up in free agency. They got Drew Dahlman from the Falcons to take seem like to take less money to go up to Chicago. And they also got
big boy
Falcon
Grady.
Great world Falcon beloved Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett is now a Chicago Bear. That
Talk about
sounds weird to
fast
say.
moving, though. Like he gets released, and literally like 4 hours later, he is signed.
3
with the
year,
Chicago
43
Bears.
million. 3 year, 43 million. I would have signed to if I was him, because he's not going to get that anywhere else. But
No.
Good luck to Grady, man. He did wonders here in Atlanta, man. If we would have won that Super Bowl, he would have been the MVP of that game.
Yep,
with his 3
absolutely.
sacks. So, more power to him, man. Vikings are another team that won free agency, man. Woo. They re-signed Aaron Jones to a 2-year, $20 million deal. They got Will Freeze, Ryan Kelly on the offensive strip, that offensive line. They got D-tackle Jonathan Allen from the Washington. Cornerback Brian Murphy. I think Minnesota's looking to kind of take that division, man, and run with it.
Who did Minnesota not re-sign, which signifies who they're going with as their quarterback?
They did not resign Sam Darnold, so that means they're going to go with the guy that they were going to go with this year anyway. Huh?
JJ McCarthy's going to be a starter.
Yeah. McCarthy was going to start for him last year until he got hurt. So I mean,
there was talk they were going to trade him and make Sam Darnold their quarterback.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that happening, man. But I guess JJ McCarthy showed him something, man. He must have showed him something that made him be like, "Wow, we're gonna rock with you."
Yeah, and speaking of that, though, another team that did good was because of that Josh Allen trade or Allen trade to Minnesota was Washington. They've done pretty good.
Yeah, you missed that, Shay. We talked about them, man.
I'm sorry. The dog was outside doing his.
You good, man. You good. Yeah, man. I got them and the Vikings as my 2 winners of this whole free agency.
Oh yeah,
and they got, like I said, they shored up the offensive line. They got Laramie Tunsil, man, to protect their quarterback, man, which I think was a key move. Probably one of the most underrated moves there. The Falcons did absolutely nothing. Moving on.
Wait. They got a couple. I'm using the air quotes big time. They
signed Leonard Floyd. They signed Leonard Floyd to 1 year.
Diablo guy, whatever.
And they got Devon Diablo, who's one of the speedster at the linebacker position.
A former safety and a Hokie great.
Yeah. They played for the Raiders, man.
Matt, what did the Falcons do? They falconed.
They re-signed Jake Matthews, gave him a 2-year extension for $45 million. I mean,
yeah.
The Carolina Panthers, they
oh my
God. JC Horn got a 4-year extension worth $100 million with $70 million guaranteed.
And he can have a maximum of $108 million for this. I'm so happy we brought this up because
I saw him get picked on a lot last year, but I won't digress.
So the knuckleheads, and I know you guys are probably watching the knuckleheads on Twitter that said we don't watch football. We don't know what we're talking about. Boy, are you so wrong on this one. JC Horn, the quote top 3 lockdown corner. I would love for you.
Lockdown corner of what?
Exactly. I want you guys to show us where JC Horn was the top 3 lockdown cornerback. Gosh, when he played, because last time I checked, the dude spent more time on injured reserve than he does playing, and this just goes to show that
must have been at a QT. Must have been at QT on Highway 74.
First of all, let's put a disclaimer in. Let's put a disclaimer in. First and foremost, we're going to put a disclaimer in. We are happy he got his money. As men, we are happy he got his money. He's doing his craft and he got his money. We have no problem with that at all.
Tepper.
Question is, how do you Carolina fans feel about this? That's the question.
Tepper, what do you? Hey, just be careful, Shane. Tepper may show up at our house and throw the hats, and put us and tell us to close our stores.
Well, obviously Tepper's feeling like Oprah right now. You get $100 million deal. You get $100 million deal. Hey man. Man,
that has got to be the absolute look. And I have said this, and I'm going to hold true to this. I even said this when I was on the radio station. As long as Dave Tepper is the owner of the Carolina Panthers, they are never going to amount to anything. He is absolute toxic.
Whoa. They'll amount to good comedy. They'll amount to some dang good comedy.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
and great comedy. The sad thing is, Canales is a good coach, and we saw that.
He's just in a bad situation.
Yes.
He is absolutely in a bad situation. I think, honestly, he should have stayed at Tampa Bay, and he could have helped Baker Mayfield become even better. Look, he did do wonders. I'm using air quotes again. He did do wonders for be wise second half of the season. But Bryce Young, I think, the Bryce Young experiment should go away. Honestly, Carolina.
Whoa! Bryce Young bounced back. He bounced back. He bounced back.
He will regress again. I think he's going to regress again.
No,
I don't think so, man.
You might need to regress
I don't
on
think
this
so.
one.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so, man. I saw it
now.
Nah,
Okay.
Brandon, he chopped us up. He came through and chopped us up, man.
No, Raheem Morris chopped us up.
Yeah, but Bryce Young chopped us up, man.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, and I want you to timestamp this too, Matt, Hank, Shane.
Whoa.
The
Brandon.
Carolina
Careful.
Panthers are,
Brandon.
yes, they were
Brandon.
better. They're only going to win maybe one more game than they did last year. And that's it.
You know what? You know what? Maybe so, man. But I'll tell you what, they'll probably beat the Falcons twice. You know, the way we play defense, defense with that soft zone, the way we play defense, Bryce Young is going to eat us up. He's going to eat us up.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, one more game. I mean, that's not really a prediction. That's not really a prediction. That's like giving room for error type thing.
I said
that's a killer prediction.
Prediction. I will even go on the limb and I'll say the Carolina Panthers could even regress and go 4-13. I really do. Carolina is never going to be good, and as long as Dave Tepper is the owner, he cannot keep his nose where it needs to be. He's trying to do the Jerry Jones thing by sticking his nose in everything. You bring a GM in and you won't let the GM, and it is well documented. He does not let the GM. He wants
too busy throwing drinks. Exactly.
Flag on the play. Unfair assessment.
But also, and I want you guys to keep remember this one too. Dave Tepper's wife is more involved than Dave Tepper is, and that says a lot. His wife, who doesn't quite understand the point of a GM, she's even come out and said that she is more involved with the program than Dave Tepper. So, like I said, and I'm holding true to it. Dave Tepper, as long as he's the owner of the Carolina Panthers, they're going to be in a world of hope. I mean, world of hurt. They're never going to get above that hurdle unless if he decides, you know what, I'm going to step back, which is not going to happen. But I'm going to step back and I'm going to let the GM and the coach. Then maybe they'll have a chance. But Dave Tepper is a lot like Jerry Jones. He wants to put his nose where it doesn't belong. And as long as he does that, the organization is going to struggle. I mean, he has been the owner of Charlotte FC and the owner of the Carolina Panthers, they have not been to the playoffs.
You know what? I'm not going to say I compare him to Jerry Jones. I'm more so comparing him to the New York Knicks owner, man. Always was it Bob Dolan or something that always had his nose in their business and things weren't going right. But when he decided to step back, now the Knicks are finally doing their thing. So I have more equating with that. But we're gonna go ahead and move on here, guys. That team in Louisiana.
Hang on. Hank had something to say. Go ahead, Hank.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
Hank.
I was just going to say, Brandon, I agree with your assessment. I mean, that's all I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Let me say it better.
Correction, reversal. Now referee will eat crow on the field.
No, sir. Referees are never wrong. They're always right.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway.
Haven't you learned already, Hank? Referees are always right. They're never wrong.
Not if you've been watching spring training, because the umpire challenge is there, and it is great.
Shane, there was so much sarcasm in my statement there, man.
Well, I'm just letting you know.
ABS, love it.
Yeah, I saw that, man.
I'm sorry. Continue with the teams.
So let's go ahead and go to that team in Louisiana, who I shall not name. They actually signed their edge rusher Chase Young, which I don't know how they got him, but they got Chase Young through a 3-year, $51 million deal. Chase Young, the second pick in the draft a few years ago. Yeah, second pick in the draft a few years ago. Buccaneers re-signed Chris Godwin, so he's back. But they also picked up Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, that's a big move actually for them, because Hassan Reddick was linked to the Falcons for a while.
Yeah, that is a great move for him, man. As far as other teams, man, Jimmy Devontae Adams went to the Rams, actually, man. He was picked up by the Rams. The San Francisco 49ers lost 12 players.
Good gracious.
They lost 12 players.
See, that's blasphemy, because you have one bad season and you jump ship. I mean,
they lost 12 really good players. I'm
going to have to go interject on this too, though, with you on that, Hank, is because Kyle Shanahan, he may be a great offensive-minded coach. He is a very toxic-minded coach, and a lot of Atlanta players for that wonderful 2016 campaign, they blame a lot of the epic
2017.
Super Bowl collapse on Kyle Shanahan. Matt, I'm pretty sure you can attest to that as well, can't you? That Kyle Shanahan played a huge role in that, right? Weren't we supposed to do this? Weren't we supposed
Run
to
the
do
dang
this?
ball, man.
That's
After
right.
Julio made that catch, all we had to do was run through. Even after they took the sack, just run it 3 times, man.
Yep.
Run it.
Exactly.
Run the dang ball, man. You know
Yep,
what? I'm about to go there, Brandon. I'm about to
Don't
go
get
there.
cardiac
And I
arrest.
don't need to go there right now. You know, I don't need to go there right now. We don't need to go there right now.
Don't
okay.
be the cardiac Falcon fan.
We're not going to do this.
Ooh.
Sam Darnold
Ooh.
signed a $100 million deal with the Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh.
Sam Darnold signed a $100 million
Good on
deal.
him. You know what? I'm
Yeah,
putting my
was-
cap. Right
yeah,
now.
well, who's going to be pitching the ball? That's the question.
Exactly. Let me rephrase that, Brandon. Sam Darnold signed a $100 million deal to the stripped down Seattle Seahawks.
Who's he going to throw it to?
Who is Tyler Lockett's gone?
No, they're going to throw it.
DK's gone.
I know who they're going to throw it to, Matt. You ready?
Oh,
Mr. Rondell Walker.
well, no. They do have Jackson Smith, Jimbo.
Or whatever.
They do have him, who proved that he's a number 1 wide receiver. He proved it last
He's the
year.
only wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean,
They'll draft. They'll draft. There's some really good rookies coming out in this year's draft as far as wide receivers go.
Go ahead, Shane. I'm sorry.
Well, did you hear the news about the Rams? Because
No,
they
what?
signed
Cooper
Devontae
Kupp?
Adams. Yeah, they're talking about releasing Cooper Kupp.
He was traded.
Traded. Where
Yeah,
was
he was traded.
to? I hadn't seen anything today.
So, Matt,
Yeah.
refresh me. Where was Cooper Kupp traded? He was traded. I know. I saw the story that Adam Schefter reported. Do you know the team he was traded to?
No, I do not. That is
I'm looking.
news to me. I missed that one. Where did he go?
So Adam
I would've
Schefter
saw
reported
that
he was traded.
leaving.
He's one of their best players. I don't understand why they would
No.
trade him.
Well, we're going to either release him if they didn't trade him.
They're
That's
going
what
to trade him
do.
because they didn't know that Puka Nacua was going to be this good. That's the problem. And Puka Nacua is actually better than Cooper Kupp right now.
I'm looking. Hold on.
And younger and cheaper. You forget, man. You forget, dude. The Rams are in cap double hockey sticks.
They absolutely are.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
So, so they are going through it right now. Especially they had to pay Stafford. They restructured Stafford's deal. They just gave Devontae Adams $46 million with $26 million guaranteed. They just gave the other small receiver Tutu Atwell $10 million.
Yeah.
They just gave their offensive lineman $57 million. They are strapped for cash. They just, they're just strapped for cash. So,
yeah, but compared to the hit that Devontae is going to take for a receiver, what Coop he restructured the deal 2 years ago, got that big extension. So if they're cap hurt, they're gonna shed some of it.
Yeah,
I'm still looking because I'm.
Oh no, there's a lot of fat that probably need to be.
No, I think Brandon. I think it's sort of they said they're going to come out and trade him. That's what they said they're going to do, but they need to do it before.
Oh no, okay. So Adam, let me correct. I'm sorry. The correction point is that it is a deal is possibly being worked out with the New England Patriots for Cooper Kupp. So they're working as a possible trade. Target is for Drake May. New Orleans, Jesus, the New England Patriots. That's who is he is. They're close to a deal. This is as of 7:30 tonight that a deal is looming. Basically, is what Adam Schefter is saying. A deal is looming for the New England Patriots.
Okay.
So that's gonna be that's interesting.
Yeah, everything's got to happen, like Matt said. Everything's got to happen as far as trades and cap hits and stuff like that before 12 o'clock tomorrow.
It's some crazy.
That's when it officially opens.
Yeah,
this is the quote legal tampering period right now is what it is called.
Yeah,
it's the legal ability to tamper.
Right, and talking about the Patriots, you'll notice I'm watching paint dry right now and getting more entertained than talking about their trades. And so.
So MSNBC has said that the Rams are expected to cut Cooper Kupp. However, Adam Schefter is saying a deal is imminent for LA Rams and the New England Patriots for Cooper Kupp. That is all that it says is there, and the deal is imminent. Hopefully it happens. But continue, Matt. You were.
That's it. That's kind of it for. Cardinals made some moves here and there. They got picked up Josh Sweat, but that's as far as free agency goes. Those are kind of the major moves that have happened right now.
Hey, this individual who just asked, who is my Stanley Cup pick for this year after the trade deadline? That's actually a really good question. I'm glad you asked that. So, according to ESPN and according to Vegas, both Dallas Actually, Dallas has the highest odds, I think. But there's only one team that's won 10 of their last 11 games. That is my Tampa Bay Lightning. I think for the Stanley Cup final, though, I would be willing to go on a line and say Winnipeg versus, and I hate Winnipeg, but Winnipeg versus Tampa Bay, I would say. But that's going to be a really good one. Tampa Bay, they did load up. However, Dallas, while they did do a lot, and they gained now has the highest odds to win the Stanley Cup. I would not be surprised if Winnipeg is able to overcome them just enough and beat them in a 7-game series to go. Like, the Western Conference Finals, they do beat them in 7. But I mean, it could easily be Winnipeg and Dallas versus I say Tampa Bay. I really do. I don't think there's any other team really in the East who zazzles me, who zings me, who I think is going to be the best option. But the season is still upon us. There obviously the questions linger as to what could happen. But I mean, we saw one of the players for Florida. Florida, they at one point they were favored to win back-to-back Stanley Cups. That's only happened, I think, a handful of times. The Lightning are the last ones to do back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. They just lost their best player to 20 games for performance enhancing. So I think you can kiss that Stanley Cup repeat. Oh, bye-bye for the Florida Panthers. So that's my thoughts on that question. But I'm glad that person, Repo Zato, is able to ask that question. That's a very good question. Thank you.
Well, I can tell you, don't sleep on Las Vegas still. They are a good team.
Vegas, for whatever reason, and look right now, Carolina is playing neck and neck with the LA with the Lightning. Do I talk much? Or it is 2-0. It's in the second period, but the Lightning, they are a good team. So Carolina, they're kind of back and forth with them as well. I think last time I checked, in the East, Tampa Bay is only like 3 points out of the first place position in the East. So yeah, just stay tuned for that one. It's exciting to what's going to go on point. So all right, Matt. Obviously, you tagged on a lot of good and crazy free agent moves in the NFL. Fans who are watching, obviously we're coming to the end of the show, but we want you guys to chime in on the stream with the chat. You can message Hank, you can message Shane, you can message myself, you can message Matt. We will be happy to converse with you about what you say as possible. Which teams do you think won and which teams do you think lost in the free agent world right now? Because there's been a lot of crazy and unusual moves. So shout out to them. Hey, real quick, guys, a rare celestial event is going to take place on the 13th, which is actually in a couple of days. Can anybody tell me what it is?
Lunar eclipse.
That's right. A total lunar eclipse, which it'll be viewable for the entire lower 48. And the reason why they call it the lower 48 is because Hawaii is not a part of the continental United States, and Alaska, albeit that we are switching over from winter into spring. They're still in their period of midnight. They do have midnight football going on right now in Alaska. So let's see. It says, it's good to get some perspective on this. I appreciate the feedback. My money is on Colorado. They went out and got some hot rentals along with the acquisition of Martin. As much as I'm, these, I will tell you also, these other three, they don't quite understand what we're talking about. But, I'm going to go ahead and I kind of agree with you. I'm not going to sleep too much on Colorado. Look, Colorado, they always tend to come at the right point, get hot at the right point. I hope that the Stanley Cup is going to be what we're expected. It's going to be phenomenal. Stanley Cup playoffs are some of the most electrifying playoffs you get to watch. So we will see if Colorado does do their thing, and I would be okay with seeing Colorado go into the finals.
I got a good take on it. Colorado added a lot of depth, which they needed throughout their line changes and stuff, but they didn't add the star caliber that kind of brings them over the edge, especially in the West. We're talking about Dallas now, Las Vegas, Winnipeg. We're talking about some really good hockey teams right now in those three, and so I think they made the right moves in the right direction. I say next year, I'd put $100 down on them at the beginning of the season, knowing what they could be.
Absolutely. Look, again, they're only 6 points behind Dallas for the second position in the West. So Colorado, Colorado is one of the hotter teams. They've won 6 straight. So you may get your wish, and actually, I don't like Winnipeg, but Winnipeg did start out really hot. They've gotten really cold as of late, but they're not by any means a cakewalk. Shane's already hinted that Vegas is not a cake against, they can do really good. So it's going to be an interesting end to the season. We only have like 15 or 17 games left. It's going to be an interesting run. I cannot wait to see what happens, but Stanley Cup playoffs, that's where it's at. So again, the total lunar eclipse is for the lower 48. It will start at midnight, just after midnight on the eastern coast, and 9 p.m. on the west coast. Now, because even though it is the lower 48, Hawaii will get a partial vision of the lunar eclipse. So my people in Hawaii, don't think you're being excluded from the possibility of seeing it. But shout out to everybody. If you want to have a very interesting viewpoint of this one, this is actually called a total lunar eclipse and a blood moon. The reason why it's called a blood moon, the shadow is actually going to create almost like the reddish color on the moon. It's going to be fun to check it out. I hopefully will be able to take pictures. I love lunar eclipses. I love eclipses in general. They're beautiful to witness in your life. But lunar eclipse will be visible from the entire lower 48. So check that out. Guys, we have had a fantastic show. Cannot wait to get going again for Friday. We're going to have a lot more fun. Obviously, Friday is the day that we have a lot of fun. But we do want to give a shout out. Well, I want to give a shout out to my guys who are sitting right here. It has been a phenomenal run, and we are going to be broadcasting on a radio station in Texas. So I want to, do it again. I know you guys have already probably finished yours, but I'm going to get my adult beverage. I'm not sponsoring them. They're not sponsored by us, but I'm getting my adult beverage, and I'm cheering to you guys, to Matt for continuing this train with me, to Shane for coming back aboard and being a part of our team, and to our newest member, Hank, for being a part of the Sportz Nutz. This beer is for you guys. I'm so proud of what we're doing. This is only the beginning. Let's go out there and let's have a fantastic spring and an amazing summer and an awesome fall and an excellent winter. 2025 is going to be a fantastic year for all of us. So here's to you, gentlemen. I appreciate everything you've done.
Cheers, lad.
So with that being said, y'all, we are going to sign off. As they all say, every good thing must come to an end. It's going to come to an end for the night. We'll be back again, don't worry, on Friday. Really quick, want to let you know our schedule that is coming up with potential guest, and you guys are going to be excited to hear this. Next Wednesday, y'all, yes, we will have an episode Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday of next week. Our good friend Shane, you'll be excited to hear this. The head baseball coach for Reinhardt University, Jonathan Burton, will be joining us. He will be with us for 30 minutes on Wednesday, March the 19th. Cannot wait to have him on. Excited. I put Hank in charge of a specific mission today. The Green Bay Phoenix, the women's basketball, they just won their 22nd in a row game, and they won the Horizon League. Shout out to the Phoenix. I've put Hank in charge to reach out to the coach and see if she can come on our show. He has to, we have to go to the communications team. So hopefully Hank will get a hold of them. Just stay tuned for that one. Hank is, he's diligently working on that one. Hank is also trying to pull some strings on the side for a particular former star NFL quarterback. We're not going to name names because we have to make sure we can get a hold of him. But he's working his magic right there. Shane's working on some magic. Matt is absolutely been working magic with getting some notable basketball, some notable baseball, everything. So we also are very close to possibly getting the play-by-play caller for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets baseball team. Stay tuned for that one. So yeah, we have a lot of fun stuff coming up for the Sportz Nuts. With that being said, for our good friend Erik Gibson of Interlochen High School and former of the Arena Football League, he says thank you for letting him come on. Shane, what do you tell these lovely people?
Oh man. Well, before I say anything, I want to give a quick shout out to a fellow graduate of the class of 2007. Yes, we're dating ourselves again. Me, even as the youngest, dating myself. Nick Dixon, man, he was the quarterback of our high school team, catcher on the baseball team, just an all-around great guy. Just was announced yesterday that he is now the new head football coach at Chesterfield High School there at my alma mater in South Carolina. So,
good job. Good job.
So, and as you know, Jody, who was on here with us a couple of weeks ago, man, he's excited. So they're ready to divulge into it. So hopefully we might hear from them and see what they got planned for the season. But man, as always, man, it was a pleasure. Been in your ear for this long amount of time that we have today. Great guest, great things coming, man. But as always, peace, love, and bacon grease.
Yes, peace, love, and bacon grease indeed. Look, this gentleman right here, Mr. Hank Russell. What do you say to these lovely people, sir?
Stay away from graveyards.
Oh, here we go. But no, we absolutely had a blast with Shane and Hank. All right, Matt, you know the rules. What do you tell these lovely people not to get done?
Yes, man. If you're gonna go out and entertain some friends or entertain a hot date, or you're just going out just to hang out, and you partake in the devil's nectar or an adult beverage, Brandon. Just make sure you have a designated driver, or make sure you have an Uber ready on hand. Last thing you want to do, man, is drive down the road, swerving out in and out of lanes, and you get a whoop whoop right behind you. That's the last thing you want. Yeah, because once that happens, your license gets suspended, your car gets impounded, and you get taken to jail, man. And you get taken to big boy jail. You sit there in a holding cell, and they give you food. You get bread with liquid peanut butter to put on it. That's your spread. You get some nasty frozen cheese. They give you an open cup of something.
You get a baked potato with a thumbprint and hair with the Jello mold.
You might get some crackers. Bottom line is you don't want that to happen. So don't get flagged in the game of life, guys. Don't get flagged. If you're gonna drink and drive, call an Uber. If you're gonna don't do nothing stupid. Just don't get flagged in life.
Absolutely. Don't get flagged. Look, guys,
it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Jail's not worth it, guys.
It ain't worth it. We promise y'all. And look, as we always tell you guys, just be smart. Just make smart decisions. Look, it's okay to indulge in some adult beverages, but do it smart. If you're gonna drink, call a ride.
Do it at
Don't
home.
drive.
Do it at home.
If you drink and drive, we're gonna punch you in the face. We're not bailing you out.
Do it at home.
As you guys always know.
And stay off the weed.
Yes. Be clean. Look, guys, make smart decisions. As we always tell you, be smart. Look, peace up. A-Town down. Why it's the greatest sports city there ever was. Hey, guys, have a fantastic rest of your week. Remember, we'll be back on Friday. Or as you say, Friday. We cannot wait. Until then, you guys, for all of us here at the Sportz Nuts, you have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you again soon. And enjoy the lovely outro. Take care. Good night.